The screen fades in on a rainy Philadelphia morning. We meet David Dunn, a quiet, unremarkable man. A former athlete turned security guard, drifting through life with a distant wife and a strained connection with his young son. His world is ordinary until the moment it isn't. As David boards a commuter train, the rhythm of wheels and distant conversation feels familiar until everything goes wrong. Without warning, metal screeches and steel buckles. In the chaos, screams echo, lights flicker, and the train derails in a violent tumble of destruction. When the dust settles, the horror is clear. Every other passenger is dead. Every one except David. He steps out of the wreckage, unharmed, not even a bruise. Shocked, the world around him struggles to reconcile what happened. In the days that follow, David is haunted by his survival. Interviewers, police, and strangers all ask the same question. At home, his marriage shows its stress. Long silences and tired eyes suggest something deeper than the accident. Whatever force saved him hasn't repaired the cracks at home. David finds an anonymous note on his car windshield, something cryptic that leads him to a comic book art gallery called Limited Editions. Inside its hushed halls hangs images of heroes and villains, drawn with reverence. There he meets Elijah Price, a fragile man whose bones break easily and whose mind thinks differently. Elisha isn't like anyone David has known. Calm, intense, and driven by a question. What if David was exactly what he is not? He posits a remarkable theory that David might be the opposite extreme of himself, someone unbreakable. Reluctantly, David considers Elijah's idea. Start small, lifting weights with his son, testing his strength against what should be normal limits. Each success challenges his disbelief, forcing him to question what he always assumed about himself. But it's more than physical power. David feels something shift within him, something deeper, tied to purpose. His son begins seeing him differently, and for the first time, David begins to see himself. This is where the movie's mystery elevates. David walks through a crowded train station, just like the one where his life changed forever. A stranger brushes past him and suddenly flashes, not memories, but visions, sharp, brief, revealing the immoral heart of strangers around him. A jewel thief unmasked by a glance, a hate crime witnessed in a blink, a worse evil lurking in the guise of everyday life. One encounter stands apart, a janitor leading a double life of cruelty. One vision compels David forward, pushing him from ordinary security guard into something he's never been before. A protector. Following his instincts, David tracks the janitor to a house where a family is held captive. Shadows twists in dim hallways. Fear hangs in the air, and with no mask and no costume, David fights not for glory, but for survival and humanity. The battle is ugly. He is thrown from a balcony into a swimming pool, the very weakness that terrifies him. Beneath the cold surface, drowning seems possible again, but rescue comes in an unexpected way, and rising from the water, battered but alive, David's understanding of his own limits begins to shift once more. In the quiet aftermath, David returns home. The world doesn't see him as a hero. The newspaper doesn't show his face, yet to his son, he's no longer just a father. He's something more. A protector with a story that only they share. And for a moment, molten strands of hope weave through the fractured threads of his marriage. David returns to Elijah's gallery, invited to see a new exhibition. Behind the walls of comic book art and whispered admiration, David believes he is finally discovering a friend. Instead, the truth shatters every assumption he has made. A handshake, innocent to the observer, becomes a trigger. Visions flood in. Disaster after disaster. Bombs, fires, crashes, all orchestrated by Elijah himself. Not random accidents, but deliberate acts to find someone exactly like David. Elijah Price, the man who claimed to search for a superhero, reveals himself as something different. The architect of tragedy, driven by obsession to discover his own opposite. He is the villain who created his own hero. David walks away, dizzy with betrayal. The truth heavier than any physical weight. Yet in that truth lies purpose. He has been shaped by suffering and destiny, not luck. Elisha is taken away, confined to a mental institution. The world may never know David Dunn. Not fully, but he has discovered who he really is. And for one ordinary man, becoming extraordinary is the greatest mystery of all.